Hi Aquarius, welcome to your November 2020 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. So somebody, I think, was assuming that I'm always picking Aquarius last, and I think because you are towards the end of the signs, I have done that, so I made sure to have you be one of the first. Okay, this is going to be the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. So I hope that you enjoy this. I've used it before. And I did change my phone position. I don't know if this is going to work out totally, but I think you'll be able to see the cards more. But maybe not the ones at the very top. There's always something, huh? Always something. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't even have yet. This is probably the best, but let me see if I can do this. See, I can't really. I'm going to just leave it there for now because I'm going to hold up the cards anyhow. So the heart of the matter is the Three of Wands, and this is a card that is connected to expansion, creative expansion, maybe territorial expansion, so even like traveling. This may have to do with your career. This may feel the sense of like maybe your life in general feels like it's opening up, because I have here in the past position the Magician card. So this is about realizing that or accepting yourself as a conscious co-creator. Isn't it interesting that there's a pentacle here? I guess they have all of the elements. They have the wands, the cup. So it's all the four elements. You're the sword, or the, being air sign. And the idea of not being a person where life is happening to you, that you actually can make things happen for yourself. And it almost sounds kind of like a no-brainer, but it really is a shift that we make. And it's like, I think, how I would kind of boil it down to is the mentality of a person who works for others versus somebody who starts their own business. And I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that people who work for others are all just like completely, they have no sense of their own creative abilities or anything like that. But I'm thinking about myself, because I always said, why would anybody want to start their own business? I mean, I actually just completely thought it was something that wasn't desirable. And the idea of working for somebody else sounded great, because I was thinking in terms of, wow, and then, you don't have to think about those things. And then you get this paycheck every week. If you work for yourself, you don't know what you're going to get. And so it's really about the sense of the known versus the unknown. And you're kind of like straddling that as an Aquarian, because you're a sign that really loves being a nonconformist. You don't, so any type of a culture, like a corporate culture, or any kind of like, if you have to have a dress code or anything like that, that's not something that you find appealing whatsoever. But then by the same token, you don't necessarily want to have this unknown factor when it comes to your own ability to, as a fixed sign, not get a weekly paycheck. That might be something that doesn't sit well with you. So it really can be one of those things. It's really funny because my phone is flickering, and I'm hoping that's not related to, I think it seems to be stopped, so that's good. So I'm just going to leave it alone and just hold up the cards. But so that can be one of those things that's a little bit of a dilemma, like, do I want this or do I want that? And So your freedom, though, it seems like it's winning out, and you're realizing that you have that opportunity. So even like with relationships, it can be the same thing where you might have felt like you fell into something. Maybe you got pregnant or your partner got pregnant, and you felt like, okay, the right thing to do is to get married and or live together. And maybe that was the right thing to do for a season. And now you're realizing that you have to go beyond that. You have to transcend that, and that you have the ability to do that, that you don't have to just make a choice and that has to be your choice for the rest of your life, that you have some kind of freedom within these choices that you've made. The higher message is the Eight of Swords. So here's another, sword being put out here. And I'm saying another just because the magician had a sword represented there. The Eight of Swords is a card of, now you see the chrysalis, isn't that what that's called with the butterfly? It's a very interesting depiction in this Wild Unknown deck because I think it's a more positive one. In the Rider-Waite deck, they have a woman and she's kind of, she's got like she's being bound, like she can't move, and it's a sense of oppression. The Eight of Swords is about being held back by your own thoughts. Swords relate to communication, but that includes your thoughts. Your thoughts are what you communicate to yourself about life, about you, about other things in life. And when people have negative self-talk, they're thinking negative things about their life, and that is leading to feeling that they cannot maybe advance. You want to expand, you want to maybe do things that you've never done before, but you talk yourself out of it. Or, by saying, oh, that's crazy, I can't do that. But I want to emphasize that I think it's on the way out, and that's why it's in the spiritual position, this card. It's like saying you have to replace those tapes in your head with affirmations that reflect who you are now. One of the things that they say is that everything that is in front of you right now, your reality, is not your current state. It's actually the past, because it's everything that you've created by the thoughts you've thought in the past and the things that you've done in the past based on those thoughts. So the people that get caught up in whatever is happening in this moment, and they cannot envision for themselves a completely different environment, a completely different job or relationship, they are stuck in what they are seeing in front of themselves, not realizing that that's actually from the past. And whatever you have introduced into your life now, if you've been introducing those positive influences, which I think that you have been based on the first two cards that I mentioned, that is going to create your reality that will be made manifest in the future. What crosses you is the Father of Pentacles, which is the King of Pentacles. And this is, this could be a literal father, especially, I don't know why they have rainbow. I think, the rainbow might signify, making your dreams come true. This is the final court card, the King, so it's a summation of what that particular element or the suit represents. In this case, Pentacles. So this is the culmination of that, and maybe that's what the rainbow, I don't know. But anyway, I'm reading this as a challenge card. So an example would be if you had a father figure who was very materialistic and taught you that everything is about money. That's ultimately what makes the world go around, and you have kept that in your mind. I've been doing this theme lately of your passion versus your practical side, which one is going to rule out. And with the wands as the centerpiece, the Three of Wands, we have the creative, we have the passionate. Maybe because I'm a Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, I feel that has to be front and center of a person's life, that they have to live their passions. With Aquarius, there's always that kind of cool, logical, analytical side that may kind of, be pervasive, which is like, I have to do the pros and cons, and I have to see which is the best for me. But I feel like the things that we have always there's a running theme in our lives, usually in one direction or the other, about what our interests are, what really excites us. And when we honor those things and we don't think that they're just kind of trivial or part of our past, I think we can really hone in on that if you have a hard time figuring out what your passion is. Or you can make it your job. The Buddha says something like, your job is to find out what your purpose or your job is. Something like that, And I think that's very true. But the world will tell you, well, take this aptitude test, or let me tell you what kind of careers are really hot right now, that there's a lot of openings and all this stuff. So if you're going to go that path, then you have to accept the consequences, I was going to say, if you lay down with dogs, you got to get fleas. But I mean, if you lay in a certain bed, you're going to have to make that bed. I don't know. I'm mixing metaphors. But also the Father of Pentacles, maybe this is your boss who is very much kind of impeding your ability to be autonomous in some way. Maybe you took a job thinking that you would have free reign using your creative gifts as well as your sense of judgment, let's say. With the Magician card, it's a sense of like you being in the driver's seat as far as I'm concerned, and maybe this other person kind of is not allowing you that freedom, and that is creating a sense of blockage. What's coming in is the Wheel of Fortune. This is connected to Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, which happens to be in Capricorn, your 12th house. But guess what? Yeah, Jupiter is going into Aquarius. Did you know that? In December of all times, which is not that far away. So perhaps that is a timing card, talking about when you can expect your fortunes to shift, maybe more in the direction of your dreams. But in general, Jupiter is about those lucky breaks, that sense of feeling expansive, which the Three of Wands in the Minor Arcana also echoes. And then we have the Eight of Cups, and this is leaving what no longer serves you, trying to, or is fulfilling for you spiritually. Now again, the Three of Wands can be something something like about travel. So perhaps you are going to travel for something that is of a spiritual nature, and that is going to give you a sense of renewed purpose, or finding out what your life, what you feel is the meaning of your life, what you're here to express, what you're here to accomplish. Because you may be feeling that this is the time when you need to do that. You're going to have these supportive elements. You're going to have, in December, you're going to have Jupiter and Saturn align in your sign in Aquarius at the time of the winter solstice. How cool is that when the sun goes into Capricorn in your 12th house, which is the house of past lives. And so that might illuminate, this karmic purpose of your life. But also Saturn is one of your rulers. So when you have Saturn in your sign, it's coming back. It expresses itself well in that sign. So I hope that you are excited about this. I'm excited for you, Aquarius. And if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.